Okay. Yeah, now it works. Perfect, thank you. So today I'm going to talk about the lessons from the Bybit Hack. I'm jchetrit and I'm like a builder in OpenZeppelin, okay, so you can reach out to me if you have any question. Let's start, let's first introduce Ethereum accounts. We all know that we have the external owned accounts. It's controlled by a private key, no code. That's not true anymore because the EIP 7702 changed that, but I'm going to leave it for now because it's a lightning talk. And what's the problem of external owned account and why we are not using it for protocols? The reason is because we only have a private key, So this is a point of failure and it's very centralized, So if this private key gets compromised, you are wrecked and you lose all the money, So what we implemented, it was like the safe account. So no private keys, hash code, so what we can do whatever we want. And in that case, we created like a multisig, and a multisig, it has 3 signers. And to sign the transaction, you need the sign of these signers, okay? But what's like the problem of multisigs, in my opinion, is the signers are public. I mean, you can access to the multisig and you will see the signers here, So that's great for hackers because they know what they need to hack, okay? And also like the assets, for example, you can see how much money this multisig has, and the hackers, they target us. So let's continue. Like everybody knows the good practices of multisigs. Like, okay, if I have a protocol, I'm going to use a multisig. I will say you will use like a hardware wallet for the external account instead of MetaMask. You will set like a high threshold. We are not going to reveal the identity of the operators, and so on. But why do people still get hacked? That's the question. And like this, yesterday, Georgios was presenting something, and he showed also this slide from Peter. I think that's great. That was last year, and just like the first half part of the year, and we saw, like the biggest attack vector is private keys. It's like operation security, like we still need to care about the smart contracts, But for example, rounding errors are in the top 6, But private keys are in the first one. So we need to audit, but we also need to care about operation, And so in this last year, there were 3 multisig hacks and drained 1.7 billion. That's crazy. Like from the Bybit hack, it was 1.4 billion. Then the Wazer X, it was 235 million, and then the Radiant one. So I think we need to improve that. That cannot happen, so we need to try to teach like the whole industry. Let's start for the Wazer X. It was the first one. It was pretty okay, like the multisig, okay, the threshold was quite high. They wanted just to sign a regular USDT transfer. And what happened? So the normal transaction that they wanted to sign, it failed, okay? And let's analyze this transaction. 1 second. Okay, here. So they were sending to this address, okay? We check it, and this is the correct address from USDT. This was the data. We tried to the code, and maybe you cannot see it very well, but it was like the correct function. They were calling transfer, and they were passing the address and sending the amount. We will need to check also if this address was correct, but yeah, apparently it was okay, this transaction, and the smart contract was verified. It was a normal operation, just a normal call. But in reality, they were signing this transaction, okay? So they saw that they were signing the correct one, but in the end, when they were signing the transaction, they were not checking the transaction, okay? And what they were doing this call, calling this a smart contract, it was not verified, so always verify if the smart contract is the correct one that you want to interact. And then the data, it was calling this like a known selector, okay? So you can see it here, and passing one address. And then it was a delegate call, okay? So always verify if you are doing a normal call or a delegate call, okay? That's like a high warning. And yeah, and what happened here is they were changing like the implementation, and that's it. And after that, they got drained, okay? Let's go to the next one. It was the Radiant one. It was, yeah, 53 million, okay, comparing to the other one, but it's still like a very high value, no? And it was a free 11 multi-sig. That for me, it's not very good. Like, I mean, if you have 11 signers, I think you need to set a higher threshold. And then what they did, we don't know what they wanted to do, but they transferred the ownership to the hacker of the protocol, okay? The multisig was not hacked, but what they did is just like transfer the ownership of the pool to the hacker. Okay, so let's analyze again the transaction. They were calling transfer ownership and the pool provider. We can see here, transfer ownership, the selector, and this was the malicious contract. So again, they signed it, but they didn't check it in the hardware wallet. Okay, so this was the king, I will say, the Bybit one. We all know about this one, and it was a free 5 multisig. Signers wanted to sign a regular ERC20 transfer, and they also got hacked. Okay, so here we just see like the transaction that was malicious, and they were calling this address. Again, it was not verified. So please always verify that. That's super important. And then in the data, they were calling the ERC20 transfer selector. So that was quite smart. They were trying to like simulate or show that it was a normal ERC20 transfer, but no, it was not the case, because they were, the operation, it was a delegate call again, okay? So what they were doing in the end, if we decompile this contract, is they were calling the transfer function, but changing the implementation of the multisig again. Okay, so what's the important thing of this presentation? Like, it's verify, don't trust, okay? That's super important. Like, even if you check everything in the front end, you always need to check. Like, the last step is to check in your hardware wallet. That's the most important thing, okay? And this is not new. Like, for example, Pala was talking about that in DevCon Bogota, okay? So, hey, can you sign this? And we just have this raw data here, and nobody's checking. We are just like trusting, no? So this is why, like in OpenZeppelin, we created Safe Utils. This is like an application. And the idea is that in the Bybit Hack, what happened is the hackers compromise like the Safe app, and they change it like the UI only for that transaction. And so the signers, they were seeing like the correct data here, but in the end, it was not this data, okay? So they were signing like another transaction. And this is why in OpenZeppelin, we created just like a platform that calculates all the values, so you can verify that in another website, okay? But the important thing, again, is you need to check in your hardware wallet. This is super important. You cannot do blind signing, okay? You need to use hardware wallets that support the EIP 712, and you need to always decompile like the parameters, and then you need to verify that this is a USDC the USDC address if you want to do this this transaction, that you are calling the correct selector, and so on. And also, if you need to do blind signing, you always need to verify like the message hash if you are using Safe. Okay, and that's it. Like just to finish here. Like it's good practices. We all know about the first ones, but it's super important. Use separate devices. Like don't use the normal device that you are, and then verify what you are signing. No, because not everybody is technical. And we need like to, for example, in OpenZeppelin, the operations team, maybe they are not technical, so we need to try to teach them to understand what they are signing, okay? And yeah, understand what you are signing instead of just trusting your partner that say, yeah, I created this, can you sign it? And yeah, that's it, like, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Joseph. Sorry we don't have time for the question. Please feel free to reach out to him.